Last Thursday, AMD closed at $169.73, a neat 3.07% uptick from the previous session, while the benchmark Nasdaq advanced about 0.78% and settled near 24,978.56 points. In plain English, AMD didn't just rise, it outpaced the market and drew extra eyeballs. That kind of relative strength is what traders whisper about, investors screenshot. Why outperforming the index matters, and why investors care. When a name in the semiconductor space outperforms a broad index, it's not merely bragging rights, it's a signal. The market's telling you that capital is rotating into that name faster than into the sector at large. Outperformance like AMD's means two things: relative confidence. Investors prefer AMD's story to the average tech story this week. Momentum magnet. Once a stock looks stronger than the index, algorithms and momentum players jump in, amplifying the move. That $169.73 close is a snapshot of sentiment, and sentiment, in turn, can change the flow of headlines and the size of analyst models. AMD's ripples reach beyond GPUs. Memory makers ride the wave. Here's where the plot thickens. AMD's strength isn't siloed to GPU buyers and server OEMs, it bleeds into the memory market. When hyperscalers and cloud builders commit to more AI compute, they don't buy just GPUs. They buy memory, HBM for GPUs and DRAM/NAND for servers, storage, and caching. Companies like SK Hynix and Micron have seen renewed momentum because the value chain is tightening. More AI compute, more memory per rack, higher billings for memory suppliers. Recent analyst notes and market action show memory stocks re-rating as part of that flow. Imagine a stadium tour. AMD is the headline act. When the band books a stadium, it doesn't just hire the singer, it hires the sound system company, the lighting firm, the roadies, and the truckers. Memory suppliers are the sound system, in this metaphor. If the band decides to tour bigger and louder, bigger AI models, the sound system orders more speakers and amps. That demand cascades. SK Hynix and Micron are selling more than speakers. They sell what makes the show possible. Why memory momentum looks like a supercycle, and what that word even means. A supercycle is finance speak for a multi-year phase where demand structurally outstrips supply and prices trend higher for an extended period. The AI build-out, gigantic models, more data, more inference, and more training, has suddenly revived long-dormant demand for high-bandwidth memory. Analysts and industry pieces now point to inventory rebuilds, higher DRAM/HBM pricing, and capacity discipline from fabs as evidence that we're entering one of the most meaningful memory cycles in years. If true, the beneficiary list includes SK Hynix, Micron, Samsung, and the broader supply chain, substrates, packaging, test, and assembly. That's why AMD's rally looks like a call to the whole ecosystem. By the way, if you are benefiting from the content so far and want more like this, like the video, it means much to me. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell, and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. AMD's impact is both direct and catalytic. Direct impact. AMD sells more GPUs and EPYC CPUs, higher revenue, higher margins. Catalytic impact. AMD's wins prompt customers to buy complementary parts, memory, power supplies, interconnects, lift component suppliers' pricing power, and accelerate CapEx programs at hyperscalers. In short, AMD is the stone. The memory market is the ripple. When the first rock hits the lake, everyone else feels the wave. Reuters and market reports have highlighted how AI deal-making has lifted broader tech sentiment, not only the CPU/GPU vendors. Think of the tech industry as a city of giant dominoes. AMD pushes one big domino, a major GPU win or a product ramp, and click, the memory firms, system integrators, and even data center builders tilt. The fun part? The fall is not chaotic, it's planned. When done right, it speeds up cycles, lifts prices, and creates multi-quarter tailwinds for many companies. But if a domino slips the wrong way, execution problems, the same setup can create a messy tumble. Why SK Hynix and Micron look particularly spry right now. 2 reasons they're popping. Tighter supply versus rising demand. After cycles of oversupply, many memory players cut capacity. That discipline means new demand shows up faster in pricing and revenue. AI sticks more memory per compute node. Modern GPUs need a lot of high-bandwidth memory to run huge models. That means one GPU purchase often implies a big memory purchase. Analysts are noting that DRAM/HBM price improvements and sell-through are lifting memory suppliers' margins and stock prices. Micron and SK Hynix have been front-page examples of this momentum. The supercycle's winners, and the ones who need to watch their step. Winners: HBM makers, DRAM specialists, substrate and packaging companies, test and assembly partners, and even some EDA/software vendors who tune memory flows. Watch your step: suppliers with overcommitments to legacy nodes, firms with high exposure to regions with geopolitical risk, and companies that can't quickly convert capex into yield. Short takeaway: AMD's growth fuels others, but each link in the chain still needs to execute. How investors translate these industry moves into portfolios. Momentum traders will buy AMD and memory names on strength. The chart is the signal. Growth investors will look at AMD for structural AI exposure, GPUs plus CPUs plus systems. Value or risk-averse investors may prefer suppliers with clear cash generation and conservative capex plans, or wait for pullbacks after the run. Sector analysts will watch cross-company indicators, HBM lead times, DRAM price indices, and hyperscaler orders. These are the market's weather reports. In short, one stock's move can materially alter expectations across multiple industries. The grocery cart effect. Imagine AMD as a shopper who buys a fancy new oven. The oven vendor, AMD, needed memory, RAM for the oven's smart processor, cables, and installation. The local suppliers see more business and buy more flour, sugar, and crates for boxes. Suddenly the bakery down the street sees demand for packaging soar. In this world, AMD buying compute becomes a grocery cart that lifts entire aisles of suppliers. That's how a single hardware cycle expands into a sector supercycle and could hit $970 after a few years. Love the story? Great. But don't ignore realism. Execution risk at AMD, delivering chips at scale, meeting customer integration timelines, and avoiding yield problems are all hard. Memory capex timing. Fabs take years. If memory suppliers overcommit, pricing can flip fast. Geopolitical and trade risks, export controls or regional restrictions can reroute demand and margins. Valuation risk, rapid price appreciation can bake in future perfection, and perfection is rare. These points aren't doomsaying, they're the parts investors watch to see whether the supercycle becomes sustainable or fizzles. Note this as well. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still, and he which is filthy, let him be filthy still, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Revelation 22 verses 10-14. If we fully obey the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth, and carefully follow all his commandments, he has promised to set us high above all the nations of the earth. Deuteronomy 28. We shall be blessed when we come in and when we go out. I appeal to you to accept God and let him be your guide, for he will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31 verse 8. Want more information? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, You greatly encourage me to continue bringing to you insightful content. Do not miss out on our future videos full of insight. All I am asking is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's blessings and care. Faith and prayer will do what no power on earth can accomplish. See you in the next video by God's mercy.